Hello everyone and welcome on De Papier de Rêve channel. I'm Ursula and today I will paint with you an improvisation while using absolutely no brush on my paper. I will just use tools I found around me. So my painting today will not be realistic, it's an improvisation and it's a little bit abstract, or totally abstract if I'm honest, just because I wanted to play with colors and focus on texture and what I can get with all my tools. I didn't want to restrain myself while painting something realistic with all these tools. I've started my painting by using my fingers, and it's really fun to touch my fresh watercolor with my finger. It's really soft and you have a strong sensation when you put this color on the paper because the paint is very soft but the paper is very rough, so there is a contrast in touch, and I think it's very interesting to try at least once and experience all this texture with our hands. Today I'm using a large variety of tools, so my fingers of course, but also natural sponges, this palette knife and some silicone brush and all sorts of things, and I think it's nice to try this kind of tool because they are really good at mark making sometimes, and we often don't think about them for making art with it, so it's good to experiment with them and to know what they can do so that you are able to use them in regular painting. And the palette knife is maybe the most difficult tool I found with watercolor. Maybe it's because my watercolor I'm using are dry and I just wet them just before I paint, so they are still quite dry, so I cannot take some paint very easily with my palette knife. So it's not the perfect tool for watercolor, but it can make a really nice splatter when you flick the end of the palette knife full of paint and water. For the colors today I'm using quite my regular mix at the moment. That's Ultramarine blue, Aussie red gold, nickel azo yellow, and a touch of lavender. I'm using Ultramarine blue today just because it's a little bit more textural than my other blue, Indent blue and cobalt blue, and I think it goes very well with Aussie red gold and nickel azo yellow. And I can get almost turquoise color by mixing Ultramarine blue and nickel azo yellow, and I think it's really beautiful. I really love to use my fingers in this painting just because you can feel the paint on your hand, on your fingers, and you can feel when it's a little bit drier. You can still add water with just by flicking my finger on top of the paper. And it's another approach to watercolor painting because I feel a little bit more connected with what happened on my paper with just touching it with my finger. I'm never allowed myself to touch my paper with my bare hand just because we have oil in your skin and it can affect the paper and make some weird trace on the paper, so I just avoid to touch my paper with my hand. So I'm really glad to do that for once. And I'm also using the palette knife to make some marks on my paper by scratching the paper with the point of the palette knife. It's a technique that is used by many watercolor artists, and you have to find the perfect time to make it so that the trace will stay white. And I think I was a little bit too early because I'm impatient and it's not as strong as it could be, but the paper is scratched so that the trace I've made will stay forever like that. And I'm almost done with my first layer, and I'm really happy with it because it looks like an explosion, and it feels very joyful in sorts. And I will let it dry and I will talk you through my tools for today. So I'm using Ultramarine Blue, Aussie Red Gold, Lavender, and Nickel Azo Yellow. And my paper is Canson Héritage in Rough. I will not talk you through all my tools in the video because it's a little bit too much, but I will make the name of my tools in the description just below the video if you want to have a better look at it. So now I'm starting my second layer, and on this layer I just want to build some contrast. Of course, I want to add a little bit more contrast in the colors by adding a darker color in the certain area, but I want also to add contrast in the shapes. Right now I have a lot of round shapes that are a little bit blurry, and I want to contrast them with some lines and some harder shapes so that they appear a little bit more soft and rounded even more. And for that I was using the palette knife to make some horizontal line with it. It's a little bit difficult with watercolor using the palette knife the way I was using it, because watercolor is a little bit too fluid for the palette knife, so it's not working as I wanted it to work. But a bit later you will see me work those lines with the silicone brush, and this one works a little bit better, and I will get some stronger lines as I wanted. And in this painting I've made a discovery about sponges, and I do not use them very often, but I like them a lot because you can make very soft wash of color with sponges. You can take back a little bit of color and make things even more softer. But you can also add a lot of texture with the sponge, like I'm doing right now. I'm adding a lot of freckles in some sort with my sponge, and it's really natural in this effect, and I like that really well. And I think I can use this tool in really a lot of painting, in floral painting, but also in the landscape painting. I think it's a great tool that I need to use really more. This painting was really fun to make, just because it was quite abstract and I was able to do just what I wanted to do. I was able to play with the color I'm liking right now, so that's always a good thing. And I've learned a lot about my tools that I'm not using enough, and I'm really happy to have this knowledge now, so that I can enrich all my other painting from now on. And even if my painting is really abstract, I think it's a good representation of what I'm feeling right now about Spain, about my moving, because I was thinking a lot while I was painting this picture about how I like the life here in Spain. So it's quite a nice picture to have, reflecting my thinking right now, so I do like it for that also. And this video is now ending. Thanks for watching and I hope you like it. Please check the blog post for more information about the tool I'm using. I will post a list of the tool I was using for this painting, and also some photo and zoom of the painting so that you can see it a little bit better. And of course, tell me what you think about this painting in the comments. See you soon.